What is up, YouTubers, my gamer friends out there? What is up? What's going on? How you doing? Hope you're all having a great day. Welcome to RPG Kickstart, the series where I talk about role-playing games in general, and in particular, my journey down the solo route. Really, is what it's all about. That's not to say this isn't solo specific, but my journey of late happens to be soloing. Why? Because I love it. Anyway, I'm into a lot of role-playing games, and I've played a lot of role-playing games in my time. My time is getting longer by the day, it seems, but I've played a lot of games. Not as much as some, but quite a few. You know, started in first edition D&D, and branched out from there. Really, still playing D&D, but today I want to talk about World of Darkness games, and in particular two that I'm coming back to because I realised that they are going to be excellent, and I do mean excellent, for solo play. And what makes them so excellent is the game mechanics. And I took a bit of a gamble with the later one. Well, let me start off. Let me start from where I want to go. I thought to myself, I used to have a lot of these World of Darkness games from White Wolf, and you know, I was really into them. I've played Werewolf and Vampire a lot, years and years ago, of course. But the mechanics was something which really drew me in. The whole D10 system and the simplicity of it. I just loved it. And sadly, over the years, I ended up getting rid of a lot of my books, most of my books. I kept a few, and those few, I don't know why, were, well, the three main ones I kept were Werewolf the Forsaken. I don't know why I kept that one, because I actually prefer Werewolf the Apocalypse, but I've got that one anyway. But I suppose I just, you know, didn't want to get rid of everything. I suppose I looked at my books one day and thought, do you know what, I'm getting rid of too many of these. So yeah, so I kept that one. I got Vampire the Requiem. Never really got into it that much. And I got just this World of Darkness book here, which is just like a general thing, really. Tells you about role playing in the World of Darkness setting. So yeah, so that's that. And I realised, oh, I got some Werewolf the Forsaken character sheets. So I got those on, but I thought to myself, do you know, I want to get back into Vampire the Masquerade and Werewolf the Apocalypse, because those two were phenomenal. For me, they were phenomenal. The settings, the deep richness of the lore, I just can't emphasize enough how deep and rich that lore is. So I thought, right, well, I need to go and start buying the books back that I used to own. You know, I thought, well, first, second edition, I don't mind. I'll play that. See if I can get some of the books. If I can get the core rule books, then I'm good to go. Now I've located a few of them online, places like eBay and that. And I've started buying. The first one I got was the Werewolf book, Rite of Passage, which I think was one of the last Werewolf books I ever bought. Actually, I think. But yeah, the Rite of Passage, because yeah, it's just really, really great first outing for any werewolf game or group, particularly. I'm interested to see how that would play out in solo. That said, might be playing it group as well, but that's another story, not for this video. Then, let's move this to one side a minute. Ooh. Then I thought, let's try and get the core rulebooks. Now I've ordered my original Werewolf rulebook and like the second edition one I think that came out after it, which was this one here, which is going to serve me well. Now I've also done. I mean, this is in pristine condition. You know, it's like as new. I mean, for a book that's 30 years old, this is pristine. It's better than some of the books you can buy now. But anyway, I did download and print out a couple of character sheets for Werewolf the Apocalypse, and I just printed them up there. They're not. I think they're about 99 or 95% scale. I'll fill them out later. I just quite like the way that went. Now, there's a bit of a problem with my first edition Werewolf core rulebook because they're quite hard to come by, at least in any way half decent condition. But that's a work in progress, so we got that. I did pick up, it's not the hardback version, but it's a softback version of Vampire the Masquerade. But it's in a fairly decent condition. You know, I had it as a hardback. It's exactly the same as I remember. I believe that's pretty much the only difference between first and second in the Masquerade. But you know, I'll take it. I'll take that. A book I had many years ago also was the Vampire the Masquerade Player's Handbook, the Vampire Player's Guide, a source book for Vampire the Masquerade. Now, my version, the pages were falling out all over the shop, but again, nice condition for this one here. So I've got that, and I've also decided to pick up the Werewolf the Apocalypse because they kind of rebooted it all with 5th edition. It's like a reboot or a rebranding, if you will. And so I got this because I want to try it out, of course. I want to try it out, but I also want to compare the two side by side, what the differences are. Now, if any of you know any of the lore of the original Werewolf, you know about like how the Guru or the werewolves were like the warriors of Mother Earth, Gaia, the planet, and they were like the protectors. You know, the apocalypse was like on the brink of happening. Well, in this book, there's a few differences, and I've only just scanned through it at the moment. I only got it today. I only picked this up today. I got a text message from my local hobby store to say, yeah, the book's in. So I nipped down and I picked it up at lunchtime. Scanning for it, it would seem now that the apocalypse has already happened. Now it's too late. The apocalypse is happening, and you know, a couple of the tribes of wolves have they're no longer around. They've kind of disbanded. Whatever. I guess they've kind of admitted defeat. That's it. You know. But there's a couple of new ones, and there's more younger tribes, younger werewolves up and coming as well. But there's some differences as well. Like becoming, you can become a werewolf, I think, in this game, the 5th edition one. You're not just born of a wolf or a homid in this one, or a metis from like the old books. They've changed it somewhat, and that's fine. I mean, you know, things evolve. You can't stay the same, and I get that, and I don't mind because there's more than enough of the old books to keep me going, and I will use that if necessary. I think there might be a couple of cool ideas from the new ones, and I may even end up integrating the two into one, the one system that suits me, because it's still a D10 system. It still looks like it plays the same. They're all, again, I looked at like things like combat. There might be a few different tweaks here and there. That it's more, and it always was heavily story driven anyway. Dice rolling was always recommended to be kept to minimum in the game, but it's there. You have the mechanics there to help you out if needs be, and that's where the solo aspect comes into fruition. Really comes into its own there. I think that's going to really help. I just love that cover as well, don't you? The way the twigs and that make fur on the werewolf, really cool. Love that. But werewolf, out of the two of those, werewolf and vampire, werewolf was always my favourite of the supernatural, horror storytelling games, World of Darkness games, if you will. And then they did many others as well. They did Mage as well. Mage was okay. I wasn't blown away by it. It was alright. And I guess maybe in time, who knows, may pick it up. Unlikely though, but it's there in case. It's mainly werewolf and vampire I'm interested in. Mage might be a good backdrop. I'm just gonna have a sip of tea though. Sorry about that. It's my throat has been quite bad these last couple of days, so a cup of tea really helps. This is kind of like a bit of a chill out, really, isn't it? But I'm telling you, I just want to put forward those games. Still working towards my D&D campaign as well. I got loads of stuff. So much to do and so little time. So much to do and so little time is absolutely true. But isn't that exciting though? I've got all this gaming ahead of me. Fantastic. I love it. I think it's absolutely brilliant. And I hope that you can come along with me on this journey. I don't know how on earth these games would play out on video. I don't know. Certainly going to do it differently from how I've done it before. I mean, I did put out a question to you guys on another video about what scale miniatures to use for it. So for Werewolf, I mean, they did produce miniatures back in the day for Werewolf. They were 28mm, but these days it seems to me more and more figure manufacturers, particularly the resin ones, they seem to have a preference for 32mm scale, and that's fine. And that probably works better in a game where it's not heavily miniatures based, not like the likes of D&D, which I'm happy with 28mm, by the way, just putting that out there. Aliens, for example, I'm collecting miniatures for that in 32mm, again, because it's not heavily miniatures based and you don't need that many miniatures for it. Werewolf and vampire and these gothic horror storytelling games were always better, I feel, played as theatre of the mind. Just my own personal preference on those games, but it can be handy, I suppose, particularly if you're playing solo, just to mark out where you are in combat, I guess, or if you're in a wooded area or something, and there's a scope for places for you to go, hide, etc. It might spring other ideas to your mind as to where you want the story to go next, that kind of thing. But really, don't need it, because a lot of these like source books that have a lot of maps, and the artwork is just gorgeous. I think it's to die for. It's really, really nice. Even this newer stuff. I mean, who makes this? Renegade Game Studios, it says here. But there really is some really good artwork in these books. I mean, I just love it. I mean, that kind of thing. I don't know if you could see that there. It's different style of artwork from how it was before, I guess. But it's good. It fits in. It's still kind of gothic punk. You've still got the Umbra and the Spirit World and all that, so I'm glad about that at least. I'm glad they haven't done away with that, because that was very integral to the werewolf kind of setting. But anyway, enough of that. So that's just where I am book-wise at the moment. I've got a lot to get A lot of books to buy, a lot of money to spend. Oh well, I will see you out there, and thanks for watching, guys. Remember, all brushes lead to war. Bye for now. Bye bye.